In this lesson, we're going to learn how to place and build floors. Floors in Revit can go two ways. One way is, people sometimes just throw in the generic 12-inch floor that comes with Revit and that works. Some people, however, build a floor as if they were working in an application that can track materials and cut accurate sections that can update when the floor updates. Guess which person I want you to be? The objective of this exercise is to start placing floors in our model. We will drill right into the properties of our floor and build them based on their materials and thicknesses and yes, even pitch. Open the file you've been working on, or open the file called Chapter 7 and follow along. In the project browser, make sure under Floor Plans you are in Level 1. To start modeling a floor, let's go to the Architecture tab, and let's click on the Floor button. Now that we're in the Modify Create Floor Boundary Sketch mode, let's go over to the Properties and click on Edit Type. You know I don't like the generic 12-inch floor, so let's click Duplicate. Let's call it 6-inch slab on grade. Let's hit OK. For the structure, let's click on Edit. Here's how floors are broken down. We have an Edit Assembly dialog. What we have is a main structure for our floor. This will be our concrete or wood or whatever it's going to be. And that's the core boundary. On the other side of this, we can add a material to the top of this boundary. We can add a material to the bottom of this boundary. And that kind of surrounds the floor with a structure and finishes. With this floor, it's really just going to be a structure. It's going to be a 6-inch slab on grade, so there's not much going on. But we do need to specify a material. In the material, click into the By Category field and click on this little Builder button, the button with the 3 dots. This is going to bring up our Materials dialog. Let's look for some concrete. So in the browser dialog, type in concrete and see what comes up. What we want to do is have concrete cast in place gray. Once that comes up, just click OK. The thickness, let's make it 6 inches. We'll keep it as a structural material, and we'll worry about these other things a little bit later. Click OK. Click OK. Now, we need to start placing the floor into our model. There's a few different choices, but if you'll notice, we have an additional button on the Draw panel that you've never seen before. It's called Pick Walls. What happens is this. We're going to pick these walls, and just like anything else in Revit, they remain dynamic. If the wall moves, the slab edge will move with it. So keep Pick Walls picked. And what we want to do is we want to come down to the wall, and we want to make sure that we're selecting the inside face of this wall. If we zoom in really close, we'll see that the gypsum will stop at the floor, but the floor will frame into the inside of the wall. Let's go around the building and keep picking these walls. These little lines here indicate the slab direction. We're not going to really put any mesh or rebar in it, so we don't have to worry too much about that. Let's come in over here, pick here. Let's pick here, 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 and here. What happens sometimes, if you pick the wrong spots like I did, you can click on this little flip grip. That's going to flip the lines in the way you need them. Now that you have those lines in, we need to clean up a little bit. On the Modify panel, click the Trim button. Select this magenta line here and this horizontal magenta line. The next command we're going to use is going to be the Split command. Click on the Split command or type SL. Make sure Delete Inner Segment is checked on the Options toolbar. Come in here and pick that line, and then pick that line. Then hit Escape a couple times. Looks like I missed one wall. So I'm going to come in and click on my Pick Walls. I'm going to pick that wall. Notice that any overlaps, Revit seems to join up nicely. Once you have all the walls picked, hit Escape. After you hit Escape a couple times, one thing I like to do is I'll hover over one line and hit my Tab key. And if the entire thing highlights, that means you've got a nice closed continuous loop. If you have any overlaps or gaps whatsoever, Revit will throw an error and it won't let you proceed. So you have to be very deliberate with your corners. I think we're good though. Let's go ahead and click on the Finish Edit Mode button, and we have a slab in there. Let's look at the floor's materials a little closer. I'd like to select a floor, but it's going to be almost impossible to do it. I'd like to introduce you to the filter right now. If you just pick a window, a crossing window, from here to here, from the right to the left, and just pick that wall. Notice that we select the floor too. What we can do is we can come up to this filter. Go ahead and click the filter, and then just uncheck walls, and only the floor will remain in the selection set. You'll know that too by seeing the properties. It'll only say floor 6-inch slab on grade. It won't say multiple selection. Click on the Edit Type button, and for the structure, click on Edit. For the material, concrete cast in place gray. Go ahead and pick on the Builder button. Let's go into the Material Editor. Let's take a look at why we have the sand hatch on the face of the concrete. If we scroll down a little bit, we'll see the graphics properties. We have a surface pattern and we have a cut pattern. So what happens when we assign a material to something, we have the choice. We could either turn the surface pattern off if we wanted or keep it on. I like it just to verify that it's there. Or the cut pattern is the most important, because when we cut a section through this slab, we're going to have it hatched the way we want it. We don't have to do all that additional drafting work. Click OK, then click OK. Hit Escape a couple times. Let's add another slab. This time we're going to add a slab to the corridor here. On the Architecture tab, click the Floor button. Using your Pick Walls button, make sure you turn off Extend into Wall Core. Pick this guy, him, her, and her. Make sure you click the Flip button to flip it to the other side if you get it on the wrong side. Let's click one more wall, and that's this one here. But we have a little bit of modification to do because I don't really want a gap through here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick the inside face of this, but we're going to have to use our pick lines to do it. Use your Pick Lines button on the Draw panel and click this face, and this face. What we need to do now is clean this up. We're going to use our Split command to do that. Be sure to delete inner segments clicked on, pick here, hit Escape. Make sure you don't need to trim your corners. And it looks like we're good. I'm going to zoom out, and let's come over and trim these corners now. Click the Trim button, pick this guy, and pick here and then here. Zoom out, hit Escape, hover over one of these lines, hit your Tab key. If it lights up continuously, you're good to go. Go ahead and click the Finish Edit Mode button, and you're all set. Hit Escape a couple times. Type ZA to zoom all, and hit the Save button. There we go. Adding a floor does take longer than not adding a floor, but you are saving tons of time on the back end, meaning all of your sections, without you doing anything, just had a perfectly hatched floor added to them.